Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys. Welcome to Otaku Chris is Talking. This is your weekly manga review for Nanatsu and Taizai, also known as Seven Deadly Sins, chapter 218. Now, I really like this chapter because this chapter really kind of focused a lot on the chemistry, the relationship, and the characterization between Galtha and Diane. Now, at the end of the last chapter, 216, which I didn't review, I do apologize, but let's kind of skim over that. I did read it though. It's basically Galtha, he's found out that he has a heart and he's on the run, and at the end of 216 he's basically about to do the mind wiping technique ability thing that he did on Diane, which made her really forget about everything, which was the main issue of Diane's issues in Seven Deadly Sins. Now, before he was about to do it to himself, he was like, fuck this, I don't really want to remember these memories. What's going on a proper mental breakdown. Diane just comes in with a swooping kick and just straight on bodies Galtha. But obviously Galtha was fine, he wasn't that injured at all, but they end up having a kind of like a tit for tat, going back and forth and basically kind of fighting, which is interesting because we know that Galtha is fairly strong, and I'm guessing that you guys have definitely watched the anime. Then you would have noticed when it was the whole Hendrickson fight, Galtha was given the probabilities about how strong they'd be. He didn't seem to be any, like, he wasn't scared, he had no issue. Obviously his emotions are totally fucked and haywired and all over the place, but it's interesting to see like how strong he was then and how strong he is now, especially as we get confirmed that there was no heart. The father Galtha, like OG Galtha, Big Boss Galtha, a bloody Eisen Galtha, because he looks like a little bit like Eisen with the whole fucking flicker, like some L'Oreal advert. He basically he had given like the doll Galtha, the Seven Deadly Sins Galtha. How the fuck should I say it in a way where OG Galtha, we'll call him Big G and Galtha. Alright, Big G is the father Galtha. So yeah, so Big G gave Galtha basically the present, saying that this is the heart, blah 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 blah. And then at the end of when Galtha and Nadia, with the whole relationship went haywire, she died and he tried to plant his heart inside her. What's crazy is that there was nothing to implant. He just removed that memento that was inside there, and it's nuts that Merlin comes along and says there was nothing there. I have spoken to him, and when she says him, this means that she's spoken to OG Galtha. But how did she manage to speak to OG Galtha? I know that her magic is infinity. It's so like, can she infinitely go back in time? Was she able to kind of get in contact with him? Is he actually dead? Now, there's been a few rumors and theories out there around the Seven Deadly Sins community. Yes, I know, the Seven Deadly Sins community, that like the OG Galtha isn't actually dead and that he has a lot more there's a lot more mystery to him. But personally, I think that he is dead, and we're going to focus a lot more on the doll Galtha himself, and we'll be able to see his memories and how OG Galtha really was through doll Galtha. So that's my opinions. Fuck me, I said Galtha quite a lot. So yeah, so this chapter pretty much started off with Diane and Galtha kind of going back and forth, and when they're going back and forth, we actually got to see Diane use her but her unlocked abilities and the whole the giant dance, and being able to manipulate like the soil and earth and everything like that. But it was nuts because the more she danced and she evaded and she dodged Galtha's attacks and stuff, her power level was rising to a point of where I think it was Bannon. No, it was Meliodas. So Meliodas was able to sense her power level from a while away, and like she was having fun. And this is nuts because we finally get to see Diane in a light where she's not kind of like struggling, where she's not the bottom of the barrel. And even though her power level was, I think it was about 11,000 or something like that. Shit, I didn't actually write a note. I didn't write a note, guys. But basically, her power level seemed kind of lowish, around 11,000. It's, you know what? For you guys out there, someone's going to do it. Just let me know what the power level was for Diane and the new power level. But when that's happening, King then decides to jump in, and when he jumps in, we get to see that King has this newfound energy, this newfound level of kind of like composure. He's just kind of standing tall with this new aura around him, and he's like, look, I'm here to stop you, and basically trying to help Diane as well. It turns out to be King's new power level, I wrote it down here, is 41,600. Oh no, Diane's power level was 15k and rising, 15,000 and rising the more she danced. King's power level, boom, appeared 41,600. Immediately, that puts King at the level of the 10 Commandments. At that the stages that there are right now, considering Estarossa was around 57,000 and the others are around the 24,000 to 40,000, they're at a good stage, at a good level now where knowing that King alone is at that level, Meliodas, his level's gone up to the 50,000s as well, so he's really strong. You have Esquanaut as well, who's around like the 60,000 when it's at the peak. So we actually have all the 7 deadly sins together, and they've all pretty much resolved the issues that were holding them back and were basically holding them back from reaching their true potentials. Now that we know that they were OP as fuck from the get-go, and this is one of the things that makes 7 deadly sins stand out from a lot of other shonen series and mangas and stuff, where it's kind of like, okay, we want to see them get to their top, we want to see them become the Hokage or become whatever it is that they're trying to be. But in 7 deadly sins, we started with literally, it was like the narrator was like, yeah, these were the strongest in the kingdom. They were the misfits that were put together. But at the beginning, when they were misfits, they were put together, they didn't really know much about each other. They were holding information about each other back. There's kind of a lot of backstabbing, and you didn't really know who to trust. And especially as none of them were really fully flushed out, and they weren't eager to be a tight-knit crew. So there was always that issue with Ban and King, and then Ban and Meliodas, and then King and Meliodas, and the whole demons things, and then Diane and her memories, and then Diane and King, and then Esquanaut's out there, and then Galtha's out there not knowing his memories, and he's going out there bloody wiping memories. Is Galtha a good guy? Is Galtha a bad guy? So a lot of these issues have been resolved right now, and I think that this is one of the best things about it. So this chapter was great because it added a level of characterization and personally what I think could be a good form of plot development, because now these things holding them back won't hold them back. I think the last few things that we'll need to kind of uncover eventually will be the point when they all have their sacred treasures, because once they all have unlocked their potentials and they all have the sacred treasures, we'll be able to finally see the 7 deadly sins versus the 10 commandments go at full strength. That being said, I don't feel like 7 deadly sins is anywhere near finished, because we still have a lot more to find out about the series, especially as we still need to see the 10 commandments at their full strength, considering that we found out that Zodorus, when he was borrowing the Demon King's power, his power level was crazy, and he was able to take out Valor in a one bang. So this is the kind of levels that they can be at, and Zeldris isn't at that level right now. So once all the 10 commandments' power levels are unlocked, and they have all their commandments as well, then the 7 deadly sins, they'll come back. Well, they're now all together, working together as a team, nothing holding them back, with their secret treasures, with new power levels, and their abilities and magical abilities and stuff like that. I feel this is definitely going to be a war or a fight I'm excited for. But I just want to know what's going on with the rest of the characters out there, like Arthur and his band of misfits, and what's going on there. So yeah, what did you think of this chapter? Were you excited? How did you feel about seeing all the 7 deadly sins work together? And who's your favourite sin right now? And how do you feel about Diane and King finally being out there in the open with their relationship? How do you feel about Galtha getting his memory back? How do you feel about Esquanaut and Merlin? Fuck, that's a giant ass crow. Yeah, apart from that, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did enjoy this review, do let me know your thoughts in the comment box down below. Any reasons why you dislike it. Once again, let me know your thoughts. This is the discussion, and I like personally, 7 Deadly Sins is one of my favorite communities. The Taizai community and the Boku no Hero Academia community are literally up there, and One Piece is obviously one of the long running OGs, but considering that Taizai and Boku no Hero haven't been out that long, I think you guys are awesome. So yeah, so do hit me a thumbs up and give me a subscribe if you are interested in seeing my other manga and otaku stuff, and I will see you guys soon. Remember, otaku Chris is talking. Peace.